Giants baseball, nothing like it.
Here's a long drive to right. It's headed for the bay.
On KNBR and KNBR FM, San Francisco.
LeBron down the lane, steps off the left side, buries the jumper on the fade. LeBron, who did not score in the first quarter, has 21. Schroeder, lob for the rim, alley-oop, dunk, thrown down by Anthony Davis. 25 for AD.
LA Lakers come back. Now the dominant performance led by Anthony Davis and LeBron James. A 30-point win, and they'll now lead this best-of-7 series 2 games to 1. Swing and a miss. He struck him out, and he went back with that slider. And the Giants have taken the first game of this series. Swing, and he hits a high fly ball, deep left center. Going back, Stevenson makes the catch. The Giants have won for the 4th game in a row. The final, Giants 4, Brewers 1. Here's Jock. He's 0 for 4. 0-1 pitch. Ground ball. First baseman Rowdy Tellez has it. Underhanded feed. Williams over to cover in time for the out. And the game is over. The Brewers winning 7-3.
Aljamain Sterling and Henry Cejudo go the championship distance.
I got to say that's a close one. There were a lot of close rounds in there. If I had to give a scorecard, I'd probably go 3-2 champion though.
And that should do it.
Yeah, that should do it for a Cinco de Mayo weekend. What's up, everybody? It's El Chico de Agua on a Monday morning. Marcus Boucher, a.k.a. The Waterboy, back with Overnight Dave behind the glass, taking you up to 6 a.m. this morning, the start of the Murph and Mac Show, and taking a look at all the action from this weekend sports world. Whether it was the Kentucky Derby, the quote-unquote best 2 minutes in sports, which I kind of disagree with. It's not really sports to begin with. And shout out to our guy Sam Spear, but it's a bunch of jockeys riding on horseback. And we saw a big upset this weekend. Madge, I believe the name of the horse was. Doesn't really matter to me. But, hey, if you had him 15-1, maybe you were celebrating Madge's big win on Saturday at the Kentucky Derby. I feel like the final 2 minutes of a football game are more exciting. I feel like the final 2 minutes of a baseball game are more exciting. Hell, who knows? I would say a basketball game, but it seems like every last 2 minutes of every basketball game has 10 to 15 different free throws. So maybe the Kentucky Derby's last 2 minutes are more exciting than the final 2 minutes of a basketball game. And it's probably more exciting than the 2 out of 3 games we've seen so far between the Warriors and the Lakers. But before we get into that big series with Game 4 tonight down in L.A., maybe you were celebrating a little this weekend for Cinco de Mayo. Maybe you enjoyed the fights like me and Overnight Dave did. Great matchup between Henry Cejudo and Aljamain Sterling. Maybe a little bit of controversy in the decision. Could have gone either way. Me and Overnight Dave both thought maybe Henry could have snuck it off 3-2, but it takes a champ to take down the champ. Aljo holds on to the belt. And Canelo Alvarez, who always fights on Cinco de Mayo weekend, got a big win also. Flawless victory Saturday night. So maybe you were celebrating some of the fights going on this weekend. Or maybe you were celebrating the San Francisco Giants winning 2 out of 3 games against a Milwaukee Brewers team that was on a 6-game losing streak. Did not get the sweep on Sunday as
Giants.
They forgot the brooms at home and forgot to knock in 12 runners on scoring position. Had 13 hits, only scored 3 runs, but I think at this point of the season, we're happy to win a couple series. Giants winning 2 out of 3 games starting out on Friday night against Corbin Burns. So that was great to see Sean Manaea pick up his first win. Alex Cobb continue to pitch lights out with 7 scoreless innings on Saturday. And like I said, missed out on a couple opportunities on Sunday, but we cannot be complaining about the Giants winning 2 out of 3, and they're back in action today versus the Washington Nationals. Also, maybe you caught a little Sunday night baseball last night. The Dodgers with a comeback win over the Padres. Don't look now, the Dodgers are back in first place. But we got plenty of time this summer to talk about the race out in the NL West and everything going on with baseball. Yeah, it's always Dodgers suck. And that's the thing we've kind of been discussing the past couple weeks now, especially with the Murph and Mac show, with Brian Murphy and Paulie Mac, about who we hate more here in Northern California. Is it the Dodgers or is it the LA Lakers and LeBron James? Now, I got to side with the argument for the Dodgers. After seeing what they've been doing for, I don't know, ever since I've been working at KNBR the last 5-6 years, have been absolutely dominating the NL West. Besides the 1 year where the Giants won 107, but then we all know what happened in the playoffs. So I think right now, in this current age, it's got to be the Dodgers. But after these first 3 games against LeBron and the Lakers,
Lakers stink. We can get that out the way.
It feels like momentum is creeping back towards the Lakers. Because we really haven't had anything to complain about since the Kobe Bryant days. And I know the Lakers allegedly won a championship during the bubble, during the pandemic. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. We all know we really don't give too much credit to the Dodgers or the Lakers in that fact for both winning championships during the COVID season. But here they are again, whether it's the Dodgers in your life 12, 13 times a year or the Warriors and LeBron James squaring off in the second round of the playoffs after what was probably the most exciting round of the NBA playoffs between the Warriors and the Kings. I got to be honest with you, this Lakers-Warriors series has kind of stink. It stinks. I don't know what's the past verb for it. Either way, you get what I'm trying to say. It just really hasn't been that great of basketball. Going back to game 1, which was the closest game, which we saw the Warriors lose at Chase Center. And, of course, the talk about the free throw disparity and how much more often the Lakers were getting to the line. Well, guess what? We're right back in the middle of those conversations again after watching the Lakers go to the line 37 times on Saturday compared to the Warriors 17. And trust me, we'll have plenty of time today to talk about the conspiracy theories and the tinfoil hats being put on. It's something I had talked about before the series even started, about how I do think the NBA wants to influence this series to go to 7 games. Now, I will say it's not the only reason why the Warriors lost. You could take a look at the 19 turnovers on the night. You could look at the points off turnovers that the Lakers got. And you could also look at the fact that the Warriors just literally couldn't buy a bucket. They did not shoot the ball well. Shot less than 40% from the field, less than 30% from 3. We're only 13 for 44 on the night from behind 3-point range. And this really was a weird game. Going back to Saturday, the start, and the Warriors actually being up 7 points at the end of the first quarter. When Klay Thompson has 11 points, 3 threes, and I'm like, okay, here we go. Klay's at home, about to put on a big-time performance in L.A. in front of all of his friends and family. Meanwhile, here's LeBron James going Anthony Davis and disappearing in the middle of the game.
Where you see?
And I was like, seriously, where is LeBron? He hasn't taken a shot the entire first quarter. Hell, half the second quarter he didn't take a shot. But then all of a sudden things started to get weird. And this is when the game kind of turned on its head as the Lakers went on a 30-8 run in the second quarter to go from being down 7 to being up 59-48 at halftime. And a lot of those points came off of turnovers for the Warriors. Shout out to the play where Steph Curry threw a bounce pass to Klay Thompson, completely off the same page. And we saw Steph actually get frustrated with Klay on the court, something you don't see too often, which maybe was a sign for things to come because the Warriors team looked like they lost their composure, looked like they lost their poise in that second quarter. When the Lakers were going on that run, when Moses Moody is grabbing the leg of Anthony Davis and getting called for a flagrant. Now, I do think it's a little ironic. We're coming off of game 2 where Dennis Schroeder grabbed the knee of Draymond Green when he was trying to screen him, but that was just a regular foul. But this was a flagrant, which adds more fuel to the fire and the conspiracy theories about the refs. Like I said, they're not the only reason why the Warriors lost, but it's a big reason. When you look at the fact that the Lakers were out here shooting 20 more free throws, but they also got 20-something points off of turnovers. So there's 40 points for you in a 30-point blowout loss. And during that second quarter, after Moody gets the flagrant, after Draymond Green gets a technical because he got a blocking call versus Anthony Davis that was actually originally called a charge, that was overturned for his third foul.
He gets teed up during the commercial break. Then a few minutes later, it's the other Green. It's funny, we were joking about the Jermichael Green, Draymond Green brotherhood the other day. They're kind of turning into the Bash Bros. Shout out the Mighty Ducks. Well, we all know the Bash Brothers got into some trouble. So were the Green brothers. After Draymond gets teed up, Jermichael Green gets teed up from the bench. And again, this all just added to the final 7 minutes of the first half, where the Warriors were called for 9 fouls, including 3 different technicals and 1 flagrant. In that 7-minute span, the Lakers took 15 free throws. The Warriors took 1. And that basically was your ball game. That was the Warriors falling apart. After that, we had LeBron James scoring 21 points in the second and the third after not scoring any in the first, jumping over people in media row, making chase down blocks. And this game just got away from the Warriors. And that's why I said to start this segment, this really hasn't been that good of a series. You look at game 1, I don't know. I don't think it was better than any of the games between the Kings and the Warriors. Then you look at game 2 and game 3, we're going back-to-back blowouts. 27-point blowout, 30-point blowout. Like I'm watching these games, and LeBron James hasn't played the fourth quarter of the last 2 games. Neither has Anthony Davis. Neither has Steph, Clay, and Draymond. Like we're getting to a point where the superstars are on the bench. And that's why I think it's so frustrating with all these foul calls. Whether or not you do believe in the conspiracy theories, or whether or not you just believe that this leads to a bad product. Because it's always been something that's grinded my gears about the NBA. I absolutely hate watching free throws. I think they're boring as hell. I think they're one of the worst parts of the game. That's why I think in the final 2 minutes to start this segment, I was riffing about the best 2 minutes in sports being the Kentucky Derby and how it ranks against the final 2 outs of a game or the final 2-minute drill of the NFL. In the final 2 minutes of an NBA game, it takes like half an hour. Like there's so many fouls. And it just disrupts the momentum so much. And that's why watching this game, even in that second quarter, despite the fact that I'm obviously rooting for the Warriors, I was like, this sucks. Every minute, it's being stopped. These last 5 minutes felt like they've taken 5 hours. And it just leads to a bad product of basketball. But hey, at the end of the day, the NBA is getting what they wanted. The Lakers are up 2-1. Now, I won't say they're getting what they wanted, but hey, I'm suggesting it. Because this is something I talked about before the series even started, and now the Warriors are in a spot down 2-1. But it's still not time to press the panic button, because now tonight, Game 4, they have a chance to win. They can still back home court advantage, make it a best-of-3 series this upcoming week at Chase Center. Warriors will have plenty of time to get ready for that Wednesday game, but it starts tonight in L.A. Got to get the win. We'll make sure to preview this game for you and get some sound wrapping up Game 3. But overall, just really wasn't a great weekend for the Warriors. In other news, if you're looking for other blowouts, the Knicks got flushed down the toilet also on Saturday, got blown out by 20 points from the return of Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat. How about the Phoenix Suns going down 2-0, now tying up the series 2-2? Kevin Durant and Devin Booker putting on a show and outlasting the Joker last night, who put up 50 points and also might have put some hands on the Phoenix Suns owner, as there was a play last night. They're actually showing it right now on ESPN of the Phoenix Suns owner catching a loose ball, trying to hold it and not give it back to Jokic. Jokic kind of throws an elbow into him. The Suns owner flops, taking a few lessons from Chris Paul, a guy who's on his own team. And now they're talking about this morning, will the Joker be suspended? I think that's absolute BS. I thought the owner should have been kicked out of the game. They were joking about it on the broadcast. Oh, you can't kick out an owner. So they kicked out some other random fan. Yeah, you can kick out an owner. Why the hell not? What are these, rules for thee but not for me? I thought we were all equal here. I ride with the Joker. I'm riding with Nikola and the Nuggets, even though I do think the Suns are probably going to come back and win this series. That's all tied up 2-2 now. The Sixers and the Celtics are tied up 2-2 after Embiid loses the first game after winning MVP. They were up big yesterday, almost blew it, had to go to overtime against Jason Tatum and the Celtics. James Harden with a big shot. And it's funny because a lot of people are talking about James Harden disappearing as soon as Joel Embiid came back, kind of like Anthony Davis disappearing every other game for the LA Lakers. We all saw him come back in game 3. Going to be interested to see what he does tonight in game 4. I guess if we're all following the conspiracy scripts, AD is going to have a bad night, and the Warriors are going to win. It's as simple as that. So why not look at some of that post-game sound from Saturday and some of the practice sound from the Warriors yesterday, getting you ready for tonight's game. 808 KNBR is the number. If you were frustrated by the fouls, if you're buying into the conspiracy theories, or if you think the 19 turnovers and the poor shooting was the bigger reason for the Warriors losing against the Lakers, we'll break down all of that for you next on the other side. It's the Waterboy Marcus Boucher on a Monday morning on KNBR 104.5 FM and 680 AM, the sports leader.
Golden State Warriors dominated Game 2. LA Lakers come back. Now the dominant performance led by Anthony Davis and LeBron James. A 30-point win, and they'll now lead this best-of-7 series 2 games to 1. Davis rebounds in a big way. Steph Curry and the Warriors, now it's their turn to respond in Game 4.
Welcome back to the leadoff spot on a Monday morning. It's Marcus Boucher, a.k.a. the Waterboy, back with Overnight Dave, recapping Game 3 of the Warriors and Lakers series and getting you ready for Game 4 tonight down in L.A., where the Lakers are a 3-point favorite. And after winning on Saturday, after going up 2-1, they're now the favorite to win the series overall, almost 2-1 at minus 195. This is something we talked about when the Warriors went down 1-0 to the Lakers.
No, I don't see any scenario of that.
And we said there's good value getting the Warriors to win the series plus 140. Well, this morning, according to my book, you can get them at plus 160. So those odds have increased even more because it does seem like some people are pressing the panic button after watching the Warriors lose by 30 points. But me, I'm not those people. I still think the Warriors can win this series. Hell, I think they can win tonight, take back home court advantage, set up a 3-game series with 2 of them being played at Chase Center, Game 5 and Game 7, obviously, and they can still get this done. Now, I was one of those guys who thought maybe the Warriors could have won this series in 5 games. Doesn't take a rocket science to figure out that I got that prediction wrong. 5! Just like I was wrong this Saturday when I went in on the Warriors with a pretty hefty live bet. When they were down at halftime and I got them plus 10 points, I said, oh, wow. I've talked about this on air multiple times with Murph and Mac. One of my favorite bets is getting the Warriors live when they are down double digits. 10! To get them at a double-digit underdog. Well, I obviously was on the wrong end of that bet as the Warriors ended up losing by 30 points and could not cover that 10-point spread. They'll look to cover those 3 points tonight and get the win as an underdog. And it's going to be on them to stop some of these self-inflicted wounds, the 19 turnovers, the endless fouls, which end in the Lakers getting to the charity stripe time after time after time. And also, just the shooting performance of the Warriors, who did not shoot the ball great on Saturday. Meanwhile, here was LBJ, despite not taking any shots in the first quarter, still dropping 21. Here was the return of Anthony Davis, dropping 25 points, 13 rebounds, 4 blocks. Here was D'Angelo Russell, who really got the Lakers off to a great start in this game with another 21 points. And that's really what got the Lakers out to that great start, despite the fact that they were down 7 at the end of the first quarter without LeBron James even taking a shot attempt. It was the first time ever in his career in a postseason playoff game that LeBron James has not taken a shot. So I don't know what the strategy was. I don't know if he was going Super Saiyan mode and trying to store up some of his energy for the second and third quarters. It might have worked. Maybe it's a strategy that LeBron will try again tonight, or maybe he'll come out on fire. Also, the extra benefit that he hasn't had to play in the fourth quarter of the last 2 games because they have both been blowouts. But credit to the Lakers for making the adjustments after getting blown out by 27, and now it's going to be on the Warriors to make those adjustments just like they did after Game 1 before tonight's Game 4 tonight. But before we get into Game 4, let's let you hear from LeBron James himself, the man that was hurdling over media row people on Saturday, the guy that keeps talking about how great the Lakers are and how great he is. Well, here he was on Saturday talking about how the Lakers play the game the right way and how they beat the Warriors in Game 3.
I don't want to say we dominated them. I think we played the game the right way. And one thing we were not very good at in Game 2, we went very forceful at the rim. You know, we allowed their pressure to get us on our heels in Game 2, and we're very good when we're getting the paint. That's just who we are. We do have the ability to shoot the outside shot, but we're a paint team first, and then we spray out for threes or for the perimeter. And I think tonight we just played more Laker basketball, and try to control it that way.
And that's been the biggest thing about these first 3 games of the series, outside of the referees and all these foul calls, has been how different these two teams are built, the styles and brand of basketball they want to play. Now, we can dive into the strategy and why the Warriors maybe aren't getting to the line because they shoot too many three-pointers, but then you can also look at the overall numbers, go back to the Kings series, where the Warriors were still getting to the line 20, 30 times per game. And that's something I found kind of interesting because the counter-argument to people putting on the tinfoil hats is, oh, the Warriors have had the most fouls called against them in the entire postseason, which to me doesn't really work for your argument because that would beg the question, if they lead the entire NBA this postseason in fouls, why aren't they getting called against the Lakers? And why are the Lakers getting them called so more? Now, you just heard LeBron James explain, we are a paint team. We drive to the rim. We put pressure on the defense, which obviously is going to lead to more free throws. But to me, it shouldn't lead to a stretch where the Lakers go to the line 15 times in those final couple minutes in the second half. Again, that final stretch in the second quarter where the Lakers go to on a 30-8 run. At halftime, they were up on free throws 21-6. In the final 7 minutes of the first half, the Warriors were called for 9 fouls, including 3 technicals and 1 flagrant for Moses Moody hanging onto the leg of Anthony Davis. The Lakers took 15 free throws in that 7-minute span. The Warriors took 1. And that's when it all unraveled for the Dubs. The turnovers and the fouls. Here was Steve Kerr talking about that second quarter and even bleeding into the third quarter and where everything fell apart for the Warriors on Saturday.
We had a lot of turnovers in the second quarter when we lost that lead. I think we were up 11. We started turning it over and then taking quick shots, and that fed into their transition and their ability to get to the foul line. So I thought that's when the game changed.
Yeah, and it did. And from there, the wheels just fell off. And it seemed like the Warriors lost some of their composure. Whether it was Draymond Green getting teed up, the Warriors losing that challenge, or should I say the Lakers winning the challenge to get LeBron, or should I say AD, it was the charging call on Draymond Green, which led to his third foul, had a 4th foul early in the third quarter, which led to Draymond not being on the court, which led to a field day for AD.
I got to be better and smarter, and I will be.
And that's the thing, because we all know Draymond likes to run his mouth, and we've seen Draymond get thousands of technicals in his career, it seems like. So we're all kind of fine with Draymond getting teed up, but it's the other Green, JaMychal Green, that was running his mouth also. And for the Warriors to have multiple technicals down that stretch, it seemed like everything was falling apart, and it seems like they lost some of that pride and poise that we always talk about. Here was Steve Kerr at practice yesterday talking about the Warriors not keeping their composure when the wheels were falling off in the middle of that game.
Yeah, it was disappointing just because we felt like we were in pretty good control of the game. We're putting together a lot of good possessions, defending, taking care of the ball, and then, the fouls and the turnovers and some rushed possessions all kind of came at once. And so we got to do a better job with that.
You ever seen a quarter like that before? You have pretty much everything. I mean, the turnovers, fouls, flagrant fouls, technical fouls too. Although, you ever seen a quarter like that in the postseason by this team?
Probably, but I can't think of one right now.
No, not off the top of my head. It was a weird game to watch, and it led to what I was saying earlier in the show, a bad brand of basketball. I hate free throws. I think they're boring as hell. People want to talk about pace of play in baseball and all that stuff. Nothing turns me away from a basketball game quite like the free throw fest that we've been seeing in games 1 and game 3, regardless of who's the beneficiary of them. It's just bad basketball in my opinion, and I do think it kills the momentum of the game, which doesn't benefit the Warriors because they're a team that wants to get in momentum. They're a team that wants to get into rhythm. They're a team that wants to push the pace, hit their shots, and watch the basketball go through the back of the net. Well, when the game's being stopped every 15 seconds, when the Warriors are constantly putting the Lakers on the free throw line, it's kind of hard to get into that momentum, and that's why it was frustrating for players like Draymond Green, who spoke about it post-game, and how every time the Warriors felt like they were getting somewhere, the whistles were being blown and their momentum was being stopped.
The game stopped. We on the free throw line every time.
Were you satisfied, happy with the way the refs called that?
It is what it is. Game over now. Don't matter if I'm satisfied or don't matter.
What does that do to a team mentally to keep having the game stop and keep having the fouls pile up?
It's frustrating.
Yeah. Draymond was very short with his answers.
It's frustrating.
In fact, Draymond actually released a podcast last night.
You gonna get frustrated?
Yeah, and he was very short with those answers also. It was only like a 10-minute podcast. He spent about 5 minutes talking about Game 3 and how he put himself in foul trouble. And I think maybe that's the bigger takeaway when we're talking about all these fouls and whether or not it does benefit the Lakers for going to the charity stripe and getting all these free throws. I think the bigger issue is the fact that it puts Draymond Green in foul trouble. It takes him off the court, which opens the paint wide open for a guy like Anthony Davis. And that's why it's so frustrating. After watching the defense he stepped up and played against AD in Game 2, and that's why Draymond's going to be better tonight, or going to have to be better tonight to not get himself in that situation. And hell, just in general, the Warriors need to be better. Whether it's the turnover problems, the 19 turnovers, whether it's the foul, or whether it's shooting the rock. It's a make-or-miss league. They were not making too many shots on Saturday. Here was Steph Curry about that big M word, momentum, and how the Warriors can never find it in the middle of that Laker stretch.
I mean, yeah, it's never, especially on the road, and the way that they try to defend us when the game stops is not in our favor. So just got to understand momentum. In a game, like two different styles of play, it all matters. So there's a turnover where me and Clay had a little miscommunication in transition, and then the barrage of whistles and all that stuff changed momentum quickly. That was really the point where they felt like they got life, and they finished off the quarter strong. It carried over into the second half, so we gotta respond.
Yeah, and you got to be better. It's as simple as that. You can't let the referees control the outcome of the game, even though there are some people out there that think that they do have a big impact on the game. Scott Foster and some of these referees out here. But again, the Warriors were careless with the basketball. 19 turnovers. That has nothing to do with the referees. I don't think the refs were the reason why Steph Curry was throwing bounce passes to Klay Thompson. They weren't on the same page, and that's what it comes down to. The Warriors did not look ready on Saturday, despite the fact that they got out to that 30-23 lead. As soon as that second quarter hit, as soon as LeBron James started making some shots, throwing down some dunks, getting some chase down blocks, you could feel that momentum shift, and the Warriors never answered. Everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth. Shout out Mike Tyson. Well, in the second quarter, the Warriors got punched in the mouth, and instead of throwing back counter punches, it seemed like they kind of folded up and started complaining about the refs. That's when we saw the technicals. That's when we saw the flagrant from Moses Moody. And that's where we saw the game get away from the Warriors. And that's why Klay Thompson postgame pretty much summed it up perfectly, saying that the Warriors got punked. Maybe it was by the Lakers, maybe it was by the refs, but regardless, they did not respond the way they needed to respond. Here was Klay Thompson on the overall theme for Game 3 with the Warriors and how they just didn't show up at Crypto Arena on Saturday.
Shoot. Just being mentally tougher and coming together as a team rather than splintering. And Monday is a great opportunity for us to show what we're about and hopefully our toughness. I think we are a very tough team, and we got punked tonight, unfortunately, on the boards, on the glass, or at the free throw line. So it's on us to watch the film, dissect it, and be better.
We got punked. Now, unless your name is Ashton Kutcher, you probably don't want to be hearing those words. We got punked. Especially in a playoff game. Especially on the road where the Warriors have struggled mightily this year. Now, again, just because they got punked on Saturday doesn't mean I'm pressing the panic button. All they got to do is win tonight. They still back home court advantage and come back home with 2 of the next 3 games at Chase Center. But they've got to control the controllables. They can't let this game get out of hand. They've got to play better defense without fouling, if they can. And again, this is going to go back and forth into the argument I'm seeing on Twitter about how the Lakers are the more aggressive team. And trust me, I've seen the regular season stats. If you want to go off the regular season data, the Lakers had the fewest fouls called on them. The Warriors had the third most. Or excuse me, that's on defense. The Warriors foul a lot. The Lakers get to the line a lot. That's pretty obvious for you. And again, if you do want to look at the playoff numbers, the Warriors have gone to the free throw line more than any other team in the playoffs this year. But the bottom line is, all those free throws came from the Kings series. Where have they been in this Lakers series? Well, Klay Thompson was also asked about that post-game. Here was Klay on the turnovers and the foul troubles being an issue in both of these losses against the Lakers.
I think the turnovers and our fouling, and that's on me. Playoff career high, 6 turnovers. It's inexcusable. So Monday I'll be better, more sure with the ball, make better decisions. And can't send them to the line as much as we did. 37 times, way too many. So Monday, those would be points of emphasis for us is, being sure with the ball and limiting our turnovers or not fouling.
And that's what they're going to have to do tonight. Play defense without fouling. Can they do it? I don't know. It doesn't seem like the Warriors do it very often. But we saw what happened in Game 2 when the free throw numbers were evened out. The Warriors won by 27. So maybe that'll be the key tonight, or maybe we should just all shut the hell up and stop complaining about fouls. Because, as I always like to say, you can't cry over spilt milk. It's in the bag. Regardless if you think the refs are conspiring against the Warriors, whether or not you think they want that TV money in this series to go to 7 games, the bottom line is the Lakers are up 2-1 over the Warriors. And if they don't win tonight, then we will be in a must-win situation, or the Warriors will be golfing down in South Beach or, I don't know, Cancun, somewhere down on vacation. It's going to come down to them performing, not the performance of the refs. And that's pretty much what Steve Kerr said at practice yesterday. Here he was saying, hey, we can't control the officials. We can only control what we do on the court. Here was Steve Kerr saying that the Warriors did not lose Saturday's game because of the referees.
We didn't lose the game because of the officials, so there's no point in whining about anything. There were definitely calls that we didn't like, but every game, both coaches can say that. So this is not about anything other than just our performance.
Yeah, and a little bit to do with the free throws also. But again, the Warriors turned it over too much on Saturday, did not shoot the ball well. But you look at the numbers for the first 3 games of the series, Lakers have been to the free throw line 83 times, Warriors 39. The plus 44 free throw differential is the largest through 3 games in a playoff series since the Miami Heat in 2011. And I think we can all draw lines to who was on that 2011 team. His name is LeBron James. So, hey, we'll see how the officials officiate tonight. We'll see what Warriors team shows up. We'll see if Anthony Davis shows up, since apparently, according to the NBA script, he shows up every other game. We'll look ahead to Game 4 tonight, give you a spread, give you our picks, and give you the Warriors' adjustments and game plan for how they can win tonight and tie up the series before coming back home on Wednesday night for Game 5. Let's continue the Warriors talk on the other side. 808 KNBR is the number. It's the Water Boy on a Monday morning on KNBR 104.5 FM at 680 AM, the sports leader.
Well, I think just for the young guys that hasn't been a part of the postseason or have, not much experience in the postseason, just stay off the TV and stay off social media. You win a game, everybody's the greatest player in the world. You lose a game, they throwing dirt on you. It's literally that simple. It's all about, training your mind for, the next challenge. What's the next challenge? This game is over with. We played well. Okay, cool. But we got another one on Monday, So, if you got a show to watch, or if it's one of your favorite movies, or if you like listening to music, or if you're reading books, or whatever the case may be, or playing cards with the family, whatever, but you stay off social media. And when you watch the other playoff games, watch it on mute, play some music in the background. That's what I do.
Wow. I think maybe for like one of the first times ever, maybe I agree with LeBron James. That, of course, was the voice you heard on the rejoin. The voice you're hearing right now is Marquise Boucher back on the leadoff spot on a Monday morning. But yeah, LeBron might be right. We live in this hot take world where, hey, this guy's the greatest. Everybody was loving Anthony Davis after game 1. Game 2, he disappears, and everybody's out here calling him a bum. And now game 3, they're like, oh, AD's back. He's the greatest. What's going to happen tonight? What will the narrative be tomorrow morning? I don't know. But we'll be here to talk about it. I actually kind of like that advice from LeBron James. Stay off social media. It's terrible. We always talk about the Twitter people. People are always looking for something to complain about. And if you've been paying attention to Twitter or social media since Saturday, it's been one big argument about the foul trouble, about the Lakers going to the line, about the conspiracy theories, which I got to say, I'm not surprised to see.
Hey, I'm not surprised, motherfuckers.
It's something we talked about before the series even started.
But I also would like for the whistle to be blown when I get hit.
Yeah, that's the thing. LeBron does get the whistle blown a lot for him.
But I also would like for the whistle to be blown when I get hit.
And it does seem like the Lakers are getting a lot more foul calls. And hell, it doesn't even seem like it. I gave you the numbers last segment. So far, in 3 games this series, it's not even close. Really, not even close so far. It's 83 fouls total, or should I say free throws taken by the Lakers. The Warriors have taken 39. Again, I'll hit Nick Diaz twice for you this morning.
Hey, I'm not surprised, motherfuckers.
The NBA is shady as hell. Going back to the referees who have came out and admitted that they want these games to go 7 series, but I don't want to put the tinfoil hat on too much. LeBron was out here flopping in pretty much every game, and he'll probably be flopping tonight, getting some fouls. But hey, maybe the Warriors can control what they can control.
I got to learn how to flop.
Maybe they can play defense without fouling. Maybe they can limit the turnovers, because I think that's the big thing outside of the foul conversation, outside of the free throw conversation, is the fact that the Warriors came out and turned the ball over 19 times. How many times do we talk about the magic number being 10 to 12 or less turnovers for the Warriors? How many times do we talk about the total number of assists? We talk about that big 30 number. Well, guess what? The Warriors only had 26. The Lakers had 27. And really, you can just go back to the box score of the first 3 quarters of this game, because by the time we got to the 4th quarter, the Warriors waved the white flag. Steph, Clay, Dre were all on the bench. Jordan Poole did get some playing time. Don't know where the hell he's been for the rest of the series. He's kind of been the disappearing man. Not even like Anthony Davis having a good game every other game. Jordan Poole will just give you like one good game a series. Maybe he'll be better tonight.
Cross him off then.
That's another guy that really hasn't lived up to his contract this offseason, and something we can talk about going into game 4 tonight, where the Warriors are a 3-point underdog. But I think it's going to come down to defense, and defense without fouling, which is so frustrating for this Warriors team that is one of the smallest lineups in the league. So when you play against a team like Anthony Davis, like LeBron James, like a Lakers team that leads the league in going to the paint, you're going to get a lot of fouls called against you. Now, I don't know if it should be 20 plus more than the other team per game, but regardless, they're going to get to the line more often to you, and it's your job to stop that and stop yourself from losing your composure, getting multiple technicals and flagrants at the end of that second quarter stretch. So why not turn to the leader of this team, the man that had to give the speech before Game 7 going up to Sacramento, Steph Curry, post-game, and what he's telling his guys how to make the adjustments for Game 4 tonight and how they could play better defense without giving the Lakers so many free throw opportunities.
We understand the things we have to do in terms of keeping them off the free throw line, whether it's calls that we agree with or not, which most we didn't tonight, but that's not the sole reason you lose. It's just a mindfulness on how we're trying to create good looks, being tough and physical on the defensive end of the floor without fouling, to keep the pace where we wanted to and connect the game. It's pretty simple. It's just a matter of doing it.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. Don't get into foul trouble. Don't give them all the opportunities. But then again, who knows with these referees? Regardless, I think the Warriors are going to try to come and shoot the lights out. They need a big Klay Thompson performance. And it looked like he was going to start cooking on Saturday down in L.A. as he had 11 points in that first quarter, hit 3 big three-pointers. Went cold the second quarter. Did have a big block on LeBron. I did like seeing that. And I will say later on in the game, Andrew Wiggins had a poster of a dunk over Anthony Davis, but they were down double digits at the time, so we can't really brag too much about that this morning. But there were some good moments for the Warriors, some things they can capitalize on. And I think the message that you heard Steve Kerr tell us in the last segment was keep your composure. There's going to be things that are outside of your control. It happens in every sport you play. Whether it's a referee or someone in football throwing a PI on a play you can't do anything about. Whether it's, who was it, Gabe Morales, who called up Wilmer Flores on that check swing a couple years ago against the Dodgers. There's stuff that's outside of your control. I'm sorry to bring up bad memories. It's the first example that came to my head this morning. But again,
I understand.
The referees are going to do what they're told to do. I don't know if there is a conspiracy theory out there. Felt like I floated out there a million times this morning. But regardless, the Warriors have to make their shots. They got to take care of the ball. And they've got to at least try to play defense without fouling. But again, I've said it all morning long. I'm not pressing the panic button. Even though the Warriors are down 2-1 right now, they win tonight. They even the series. They have a great opportunity to move on to the Western Conference Finals. And I don't think this is a must-win situation. Now, you don't want to go down 3-1, obviously, but here was Steve Kerr asked yesterday at practice if Game 4 tonight is a must-win, and if the Warriors have to win, which is obviously what a must-win situation means.
On that expression, must-win is when the other team has 3 wins, and if you lose, you're done. That's a must-win. I have faith that our team can win any series as long as we have more games to play. We're in the same situation we were in a year ago in Boston in the finals, down 2-1 on the road. We know what we have to do to get the job done, and that's the plan.
And we're talking about Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green. Hell, I'll throw Kevon Looney in there, a group of guys who have been down 3-1 before. They've been down 2-1 before. They've had their backs against the wall. Hell, they were up against elimination last round, had to go 7 with the Sacramento Kings. And if you're looking for value this morning, I told you can still get the Warriors plus 160 to win this series. I wouldn't be surprised if they win tonight. I'll be taking them as an underdog, plus 3 and on the money line. I'm looking for a big night from Klay Thompson. I would love just a sprinkle of Jordan Poole thrown in there somewhere. But it's going to come down to that man, number 30, taking over. And maybe a little bit of an impact from Draymond Green if he can stay out of foul trouble.
30!
Try to contain Anthony Davis and slow him down. I think the Warriors win tonight, even the series, and then they come back home on Wednesday for Game 5. But on the other side, Murph and Mac will come back home. We'll make a connection and also give a quick tribute to one of our KNBR family members on the other side. It's the Waterboy Marcus Boucher on a Monday morning on KNBR 104.5 FM at 680 AM, the sports leader. All right, wrapping up the leadoff spot on a Monday morning. It's Marcus Boucher, the water boy, about to make the connection with Murph and Mac, where we're going to be talking plenty of Warriors basketball tonight, getting you ready for Game 4 between the Lakers and the Warriors. We'll sprinkle in a little Giants talk this morning, winning 2 out of 3 games against the Brewers this weekend. But one quick thing I wanted to hit on, I forgot to mention it in the first segment. We lost a member of one of our KNBR family members this weekend, R.I.P. Vida Blue, the 3-time World Series champion, the MVP, the man that played for the Oakland A's and the San Francisco Giants. And I actually had the honor of working with a couple times with Bill Lasky, with Vida Blue, with Vida and Bill on the Hill. I know Murph and Paulie Mack are going to spend a couple minutes on it this morning also. And now since we're making the connection with Murph, I thought I should mention it this morning. Sad story this weekend, especially here in the KNBR family.
I'm glad you mentioned it,